grab your wine. It's time for Rosé All Day and Juleigh's a Mess, where we talk about current events and living in an intersex life. And now, here's Juleigh.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rosé All Day, Juleigh's a Mess, and the subset of our podcast, Optimistic in Orlando. It has been a crazy week for both parties involved. We've had a lot going on. Tonight's episode, we literally came up with the title yesterday for. We're calling it Raw Dogging because last week, we looked at the profile that I had on the Hive, and we decided after we had our good friend Manny on to strip everything back and strip everything down and take anything that really kind of mentioned that I'm intersex off of the profile in order to see if it changed the dynamics of matches, if it changed the dynamics of conversations that we would have initially. And I kind of feel like it hasn't. The only mention of intersex on the profile after Rebecca kind of edited it and we looked at it was that it said, go check out my story at justjuleigh.com, which would have given them, kind of all access and everything into what it means to be intersex and what I'm about. So if they actually went and followed along to that website, then they would know, but we kind of stripped back everything else. And so we were talking about how we wanted this week's show to be about how raw do you get prior to meeting somebody online? How much information do you give out about yourself? Is it better to just keep it very light and kind of fluff? And then as you get to know them, you reveal more. So that's kind of what we're talking about tonight. And in conjunction with all of that, both Rebecca and I have stripped all the way down, not having wine tonight. I'm actually having the house wine of the South, sweet tea with a little bit of lavender in it. And you may periodically see me eat some pizza because, I've been, I'm not going to say I've been binge eating this weekend, but I've been like really picky about what I put in my body. Well, food-wise, what I put into my body. I'm following a lot of the same old habits with everything, else. Rebecca, how's your week been?
It's been great. I am currently dry Januarying for just this evening because I have been drinking too much alcohol, and not in a party way, but in like my body has gotten addicted to sugar because of the amount of rosé I'm drinking. So this is where we're at with that. So
you know what I did?
Water.
Not that I'm doing this. I'm not doing this. This is not anything that I've done. But you know what I did run into this weekend at a stranger's house. I went to I met some new friends this weekend. I met some new people this weekend. And I was over at their abode. And I thought this was really strange and didn't know it was a thing, but supposedly it's a thing, and that's not what this podcast is about. But I just think they were using a lot of Flonase. And I thought, oh my gosh, being dumb Juleigh, I was like, oh, they must have really horrible allergies. And then I found out that they were mixing nose candy in with the Flonase. And then I was like, why would you do that? And they were like, well, it leaves less of a residual of the nose candy in your nose, and it opens up your capillaries so you absorb it faster, and it's easier to get it through TSA when traveling.
Hopefully no one at TSA is listening. And
I literally was like, I'm 48 and I'm just learning about this. God bless them.
That is some rich people bullshit if I ever heard it.
Rich people privilege. Okay. Yeah. Back to our sweet tea and pizza and raw dogging it on Optimistic in Orlando. Rebecca's pretty much going to run with the show tonight. So I'm here to just kind of participate. Okay, let's do it.
So first of all, guys, there's two things. We'll talk about this topic and I'll start us off on this topic of what do you share. But we will also be going into, Julie has gotten reported, which we think is because of terrible men not like getting turned down, and also potentially some, mistreatment towards her being intersex. Then, that was a cracked finger for the ASMR people. So then the other part is she's also noticing that some people are dropping out of the conversations. So I'm just going to do a little bit of an audit and make sure it's not Julie. And then we'll also have a bit of a fun time. She and I will read a little live table read of some of these conversations so you can see how these things are going, and we can call out some of the key details you might be getting or not getting from people in these conversations. So first thing of what do you share and what do you look for? So I started watching, Julie, have you seen Love on the Spectrum?
I think maybe. I don't know.
So it's people who are on the autism spectrum. It's a dating show, and they help match and sometimes like guide and coach people meeting other people who are on the spectrum and kind of building relationships. Okay. So I just watched it for the first time yesterday, and I was like, first of all, am I on the spectrum? And then secondly, I wish that I had the kind of support these people have in their life. There's like so many basic human social skills that we had to pick up just by going through life that it's like, I wish I got this little book of tricks ages ago. Anyway, it's a really, really cool show. But one of the things that someone experienced was that he is very clear he doesn't want to have kids and doesn't feel prepared for that. And I just so greatly respect that. But he met this girl that he really liked, and they were having a great date. And then she mentioned that she's like looking for a family. And he was like, I know I don't want to be a dad and I don't want to hold you back, so I don't think we can go further. Then he comes home and his parents, this is the other interesting thing about the show, is what advice, including like really bad or very old-fashioned advice, are parents giving kids. But anyway, the dad said, the parents were like, oh, you don't really talk about that kind of thing early on. Like, you know, you should wait some dates in before that kind of conversation. And I'm thinking, yes. Yes, especially, so I'm turning 35 in a couple months, and my age on up, I mean, I have hit geriatric pregnancy level, and I'm not planning on having kids, but it's a turning point number for a lot of people. And it's like, if I wanted kids, I don't have time to get to the first date and find out you don't want a family. That's why they have that on the list. This is something we talk about, you know, that's something that's kind of maybe a no for you. So I think that there's the approach of sort of like the 20 questions. Let's make sure we don't waste our time getting disappointed on the date when we find this out at the end. And like, here are the points I want to know about this person. And then there's the idea of like, how much do you want to kind of like open up to them over time? I am a very let's get to the first date as fast as possible person, because I don't like building connections with people that are then wasted and disappointed when we're not attracted to each other, because it's a really big thing, the chemistry. Then B, I don't really enjoy having those conversations ahead of time. They are valuable if you know what you're looking for and are unwilling to date someone without them. But I think it just, I don't really want to, let's go for coffee like tomorrow. And then secondly, I don't really want to share much personal information. I'll be authentic if you ask me a question, but I really do feel like you need time to have a conversation around anything important. So that's where I stand. Where do you stand, Julie?
I mean, I try and be really transparent in my profiles. One, because I already know my situation's different, and I'm just trying on some level. It's more of a safety protection for me. It's safety for me, right? And if I'm super transparent in my profiles, then I've always kind of led with, if they don't know what intersex is, it opens up the door for me to be able to tell them what it is, and then they're educated whether they decide they want to go out with me or not, right? At least they have a little bit of education going forward. And then the ball's kind of in their court. They can say, "Oh, I'm interested. Tell me more." Sometimes, though, that goes hand in hand with, "Oh, you're a unicorn. I definitely want to knock that off my bucket list. So let me talk to her and see if she'll sleep with me." Right. And then that's where it's like, which is what we often talk about with gutter swipes and with some of the other antics that we talk about on this podcast. I feel like honesty is always the best route to go, but I know there's so many people out there that don't. And there are also a lot of people out there that are willing to tell you whatever they think you want to hear just to go out with them. And then you meet them. And, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about that first date energy. But that carries over into a lot of the profiles too, right? It's kind of that first profile energy. And I don't know. It's difficult. Last week, at least, we said, let's take the intersex out, right? But I don't feel like the matches were not necessarily better or worse. And it made me kind of feel midweek that men just want to sleep with you. Like, well, you could tell them you're part Chihuahua and you drool every time you drink wine.
I'm one of those.
And it'd be like, oh, well, I'm not going to marry it, but I'll definitely fuck it. And you're like,
it's really interesting. I want to get into like all the things that kind of came up for you, including some of what your nerves were. But it's fascinating because I have often thought that a lot of your experiences are actually the experience that most women of any kind have, no matter how you were born, how you got here. It is your shitty experiences. I've often said it's not that they're not affected by the fact that you're intersex. They are just also so common. You could tell any woman and she would say she's had 5 of the same things happen to her. Mm-hmm. So it is interesting for me to hear what you're saying. The Chihuahua thing. That's kind of true on some level, that, kind of no matter what, people behave badly. But what were some of the things you expected were going to happen or were nervous about happening that like either still could happen or that didn't happen?
I mean, I think the nervousness comes with, I don't want people to assume anything about me, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want people to just assume, I already get, you look way younger than you are, which I'm like, who doesn't want to hear that? Mm-hmm. But like, I thought that I would get a lot of, this is the problem. I thought that by taking that out of context and just saying nothing about it, that I would get a lot of men that just think I'm pretty and want to take me out. Right. And then when you tell them you're intersex, because I would share that before we even meet or go out for drinks or anything. I think I anticipated they'd be like just out of the hive, but they're still out of the hive. Like, I still think it doesn't, it's the same as what we've been looking at for the last 7 months. They'll swipe right on you based on your picture. And then when they read anything in your profile, they bounce, or they're not in town, or they don't live near you, or for whatever reason, a month ago they were in Orlando and now they're in Botswana, and you're like,
Mhm.
well, how is that going to work if we match? You know, and so I mean, in reality, I felt like this week it doesn't matter if I said I have a tail or I don't have a tail. It's going to be the same kind of
Mm.
connections and reactions.
Mhm.
You know, one of the guys that I was talking to earlier this week, I kept talking to him and he was talking, and it was a regular flowing conversation. I think we're going to read it later on in the episode, and it just kind of ended up I mean, they both did. They just kind of ended up just falling off the wayside. But one was really good, and I finally had said in the conversation, you understand what intersex means, right? And that doesn't I think I said that doesn't bother you.
Because you must have told him in the conversation, by the way, I'm intersex at some point.
Something. Well,
Yeah.
I think he said, is it bother you that I'm 35? And I said, not if it doesn't bother you that I'm intersex, I'm 49. And he just kind of skipped right over it, I think, at first. And then I think we talked about it a little bit more. And those individuals are a dime a dozen, or not a dime a dozen. And so when you connect with them, you're like, okay, let's see where this goes. And then some of them you're like, and then you can quickly assess through conversations. There was one guy that was like, I don't like talking on here. Here's my phone number. Let's get off. And I thought, the more I started to dive into that conversation, I thought, I don't think he's honest, and I don't think it's real, and I don't find a connection with him at all. And I don't want to talk to him. Like,
What have you had?
When you're flirting with can't speak tonight. When you're flirting with your urologist who ended up doing your cysto, and you're having more of a connection with him, and he's married, than you ever do on online dating, you start to be like, ugh, what am I doing?
I mean, it is the nature of the beast. You know, we do it for you guys, but we're taking one for the team. No, it's a tough thing. Well, on the note of like, when have you had these experiences? Because I've heard of other people having these experiences too, of like, you lied to me and becoming like horrible about a reveal of your gender.
So
yeah, we'll talk.
I have not, but I've never had that, because I've always been upfront about what I bring to the table. I've always, in all my online dating profiles, I've always said, this is what I'm bringing to the table. This is what I have. This is what I'm not. Don't call me this. You know, I'm open to talk to you about it in every situation. I work a lot in the LGBTQIA plus community, and there is an intersection between the trans community and the intersex community. And a lot of men, even in the hive and even in general talking, will say, oh my God, it's on my bucket list to be with a woman like you. And I'll be like, a woman like me, how? You know, and they'll say, well, trans. And I'll say, no, I'm not trans. And, you know, we talked about this on the Dr. Wendy Walsh show. I don't identify as trans. I'm not. Did I have to transition late in life? Yes. To save my life, I had to transition to the female end of my spectrum, because I was born both, with characteristics of both genders. But that is how I was born. And I just had to swing to one end to live a little bit longer, because my body was reacting more to the female attributes of my body. A trans individual from the get-go feels that they are not in the right body from birth, and they do everything in their power to transition. Now, when it comes to trans women, there is a subset of society that thinks that all trans women are going to look like the trans porn stars that they watch in porn. And trans porn is one of the highest money-making subsets of the adult industry. And oftentimes it is a fantasy, just like most movies are, because the women in these films are performing outside of the ramifications of how a regular trans woman would perform sexually. So you get a lot of men that want to be with a trans woman because they think that she is hung like King Kong and is going to be able to outperform anybody else in the room. And they're like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. And you're like, okay, well, if you knew anything about biology, the more hormones that a trans woman takes, that's not going to happen. That's going to be rendered null and void. And guys kind of have this like, oh, that's not true. That's not how it happens. She's not going to want to top me, and it's not going to be a dom situation. And no, that's a fantasy. And that's not what it means to be trans. Certainly isn't also what it means to be intersex, right? Which is a spectrum. And so it's frustrating sometimes when you come across these men that I'd share. I was talking to a guy the other night that I did go, a friend of mine that I went out with, and he goes, and he is actually married to a trans woman. And he said it's sad because men will literally say, what? That's what you're working with? Well, that's not what it means to be. And you have to realize that they're used to watching everything that they've seen on the internet and everything that they've seen in a movie and everything that they've seen that's been sold to them, right? And then when they find out that that's not necessarily the case, they're like, oh, well, and it's a letdown for them, right? For me, I shared with somebody, I was at a house the other night and I had a conversation and I said, I think what's frustrating is when you meet, and we've always said this, we're all humans first. I wish it could get to the point where people would meet each other and the energy and the love and the soul was so much of a connection that you want to be with that person, male or female, and you experience a physical relationship with them. And because it's just sex, you're going to have that physical relationship with them. And if you enjoy it, you're going to go back and have it again or marry them or whatever, or date them. But like, you're not going to get so wrapped up in the minutia that they're not in a male body or a female body.
Well, I think I was just two aspects of it that came up for me was one, okay, as a bisexual or pansexual cis woman, I was thinking about, can you transfer over the idea of intersex into something if we treated it like orientation, which is information that is not owed until you have had a conversation and met up in person and seen how the energy is gone, right? Like this idea of,
except so here's what happens. So going back to my statement about working in the LGBTQIA community and why I'm so forward with what I bring to the table is,
well, it's because it's dangerous.
There are a lot of women that will not reveal that they're trans. A lot of women. Now you could break it down into marginalized subsets of society, but a lot of women that are trans will not tell individuals that they are trans. And then they go out on a date with them. And some of these women are strikingly stunning, and you have no idea if they are male or female. Somebody told me the other night that I have some masculine qualities, but that I look more female, and so it's confusing for them. And I was like, well, that's the intersex part, right?
Oh.
But and that could have just been them being a jerk too. But there are trans women out there that absolutely you cannot tell. And so what has happened in the past is they won't tell. They date a guy 2 or 3 times. He introduces them to his friends. They all hang out in public. Things ramp up to be sexual or physical, and then they find out. And then they feel lied to. And then that's when the violence comes in. There was something like last year alone, there were 387 trans women murdered in the United States due to domestic violence, which I've always said, okay, And I asked one of my trans friends once, I was like, why don't you give that information out at the get-go? And she said, well, I don't want to be rejected. And I was like, rejection's a part of life. You can't go through life thinking everybody is going to like you. I want to have a boyfriend and be in a partnership as much as the next person, but I'm not going to risk my life to get it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with people. And I'm like, and when you're not honest with people, that's when they get mad. A lot of these men, they get mad. You've now lied to them. They've introduced you to their inner friend circle. They're mad. And
yeah, it's hard for me because you have the reality that you live in, which is you can't afford not to tell people.
Right.
That's it. But at some point, and certainly beforehand, but then there's where we want to be, right? Which is what probably these trans women want to live in, a world in which what we were just talking about is you show up, you connect, you are what you are, you find out when you find out, and that's the world we live in, where essentially everyone's pansexual, right? And which put a pin in at some point the idea of, and which apps allow you to choose people that are pansexual, because that would guarantee that you have the ability to have that experience. So we can talk about that at some point. But I just feel like it's wrong to put the burden on you, even though it's the reality and you have to live by it. Mm-hmm. That like, just because like, oh, well, he'll feel lied to and he might murder me. It's like, well, he's the problem. And at the same time, it's the world you live in. You have to do what you have to do. But
and I just, and look, and I've always said it, by putting intersex in my profile, it allows people to say, what is that? I've never heard of that. And then when you explain it, they either go, oh, okay, I'd like to get to know you better, or would you like to go out for drinks? Or they say, that's not my cup of tea and good luck, right? But at least I've educated them, because there's nobody out there educating on intersex and what that means. So at least I'm in that kind of situation able to educate, right? That's just me personally. There are other people that'd be like, I wouldn't share it. I mean, I'm not telling them how I orgasm in the profile.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's both personal information and it's also not. I mean, it's like, it's just basic information, and at the same, it just sort of depends on how you feel about it. But one thing that I was thinking was a point towards us making, so there is an option for our listeners where you can choose your gender that shows up, like, and people will search by it too, right? But where you can choose what your gender is. Then you don't have to explain in your profile, blah, 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 unless you want to. But you can choose intersex. Can you put intersex woman or just intersex? I'm not sure.
I think you can define it if you want to.
Okay. So anyways, so you
can write intersex, and I think we did in the Hive. I think we ended up.
We had your gender as intersex woman, I believe, and then you also had a section of the profile where you talked about it. Right. We did it like sort of as a 2 truths and a lie thing, and then you also had, here's a link to my bio.
But then this last time we took out the 2 truths and a lie and changed them completely, and then nobody seemed to really look at that. And then we took out intersex woman and just put woman. And then the only mention was you may read my bio at justjuleigh.com.
Yes.
So,
and so
I feel like we've gotten there are a lot of possible B's in the Hive, but you had said to me last night, you were like, don't go in there, don't take anything out. And I was like, okay. But I mean, I hadn't, like, the only thing I was weeding out prior to this weekend were just matches that I absolutely was not interested in, that I knew I wouldn't give the time of day to. So I kind of got rid of those, because I know you would go back in and it would be a little more like.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing we can try after this discussion and after knowing sort of nothing changed, I still feel like if we put that your gender is intersex woman, and then don't mention it beyond that unless somebody asks. That will draw more pansexuals, if you will, to you, and it will create that conversation point. And my main thing too was, like, it is a burden on your part to have to do the reveal in the conversation. If you don't have to do the reveal unless someone asks, or you want to double check before you meet up, like, just so you know, are you aware of what that means? It just relieves some of the work from you of, like, you shouldn't have to be the person to educate everyone if you didn't want to be.
Yeah.
So anyway, so maybe we can change that this week. So
Okay.
This is a good segue into us reading some of these conversations in the Hive. And we can talk about sort of anything that comes up, including random information like, when people sometimes jump out of conversations. In LA, there's this common thing that occurs so much, it's a joke, but it's also real, which is that you'll be chatting with someone and you won't have figured out their exact location or whatever, and then you find out they live across town and you just ghost each other because it's just, the traffic is so bad. So I feel like there's a lot of those little things. So all right, Julie, I'm going to let you actually be in there. Listeners, we have trouble sometimes being in the app at the same time because it's not built for two people. So the first person we're going to look at, I've got my recording here.
Are we looking at, this would be the guy that, if in the picture.
What would you guess about me that isn't on my profile?
Does it look like in his major picture, he's got like something in his mouth?
Okay, hold on. I've got to be careful.
It looks like he's speaking into like a microphone or something like that.
I think so. It's kind of reddish.
Yes.
And first
initial was an R?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is Julie's going to read her part, and I'm going to pretend to be the guy.
But we're going to start with the lead-in question.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is actually somebody that we had discussed a couple of times in shows past, and we never really matched with them. And then we matched with them because I kept leaving him hoping that, okay. So the lead-in question was, what would you guess about me that isn't on my profile? And I said, you would rather drive the cars at the raceway than narrate their path.
And he says, you like sports? And then
I said, well, I like to watch them. I'm not over here asking to partake in flag football with a little.
I hear you on that. What else do you like to do?
It's rare. I'll buy some, but I enjoy finding, it's rare I'll buy something, but I enjoy finding antique or estate shops in historic cities and perusing other people's collections, kind of like time museums. And I enjoy coastal cities and art and music, live theater. What about you?
I enjoy most anything outside. The beach, live music, fun bars, etc. I also enjoy playing and recording music.
What is your favorite to play?
Drums.
My little brother was a huge drum enthusiast when he was younger. That's awesome. I used to sing professionally when I was younger. Now it's the occasional karaoke. How many kids do you have?
Oh, wow. I try to sing, but I am just okay at it. Note to audience, there's quite a few exclamation points. They're not untasteful. I have one daughter.
Well, everyone has their lane. I'm terrible at percussions unless it's a gong. Aw, she looks adorable.
Thank you. Warm smiley face. She is the best kid.
You're welcome. Do you have sole custody? Kids are great. Emoji with the star signs. Always wanted one or two.
For the most part, I do. Her mom gets her every other weekend. I am the sole decision maker.
Well, that's an important role to fill. Well, I'm Julie, and I'm an open book. Feel free to ask me anything.
And then sort of an out of character. Does it bother you that I'm only 35?
No, Does it bother you that I'm 49 and intersex?
Intersex? Do tell.
I was born with an extra X chromosome, making me XXY. I was born with not enough physical and sexual characteristics to be one gender or the other gender. I am a hybrid of both genders. I can't have children. I was born with breast tissue, a diminished Adam's apple, a female-sized heart, male-sized lungs, an internal vaginal canal, but not an external opening or labia release. Small penis. I operate like a female. I have more female characteristics than the male characteristics. You can read my bio by Googling Juleigh Mayfield.
Wow, that is quite the story. I can't imagine what you've been through.
That which does not kill us, right? I'm blessed that I was bestowed this journey, and I will see to teach it and advocate.
Exactly. Are you able to enjoy intercourse? Sorry if that is too personal, ...
Yes, but it requires a very specific aspect of intimacy.
Tell us the type of sex that you have.
Yeah, basically. I said butt sex. But you may read my bio at justjuleigh.com. Ryan, I am going to sleep at the moment. I have an early morning, but I would love to continue this conversation.
Absolutely. Sorry, been a busy day. His reply was probably delayed.
No worries, here too.
Hopefully it was a good day for you.
It was. I have a small medical procedure in the AM that I'm preparing for. Sister, not fun. Being intersex, I'm liable to get everything a man or woman can suffer from. And that was delivered, but never read. So that's kind of where it ended.
What day was this? Oh, I can get in here.
January 23rd.
Okay. So here's my initial thing about sharing information. You share on here. I almost feel like it's because you feel this burden of honesty that you really committed to giving them all the details about all the goodies about everything, and including like the medical thing, which I'll get to in a second, because I have a medical thing that sometimes I share and sometimes I don't. So I think it's almost as if once the intersex question came up, you tipped over into a completely different level of honesty in a way. So like, I think you could, in the initial message here, and we don't know why he didn't jump back in, because he could have just been like, oh, I don't know if intersex is going to work for me. Or he might have just been like, not wanting to say I'm obsessed with.
I mean, he didn't leave the conversation or it would have fallen out.
No, but he hasn't responded in a few days. Yeah. So I think that you could leave it at, let's see, the writer in me will give some suggestions. I was born with not enough physical and sexual characteristics to be one gender or the other. And then you could say, physically speaking, sorry, I have yuck in my throat. Physically speaking, I'm a hybrid of both genders, essentially. Or you could be like, or you could say I was born with an extra X chromosome, making me XXY, which means I have some physical features of a woman and some physical features of a man. I'll be straightforward right now. I do not have a female vagina, but I've got some other things going on that are a lot of fun. And you could keep it sort of coy.
They're a lot of fun.
And then if the person is like, okay.
Why don't I just say it like this? Remember when you're a kid and you collected baseball cards and you paid 75 cents instead of 50 cents and you would get an extra 3 cards in the package, but you had no fucking clue what they were going to be? It's like that. Because that's what it feels like sometimes. Like, I feel like if I don't explain it, you know, in the movie Philadelphia, the lawyer would always say, explain it to me like I'm a 4-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Denzel Washington, his character would always say, explain it to me like I'm a 4-year-old. And I feel like sometimes telling people you're intersex, which I 100% am aware nobody fucking knows what that means, right? That I feel like I have to explain it like a 4-year-old, because if I don't, they immediately go, "Oh, you're a hermaphrodite. Oh, you have both. Oh," and it just opens the door to all this other stuff. And I'm still the freak at the end of the day that's dateless and sitting at home on a Friday night and doesn't have anybody that wants to come over except for the really unattractive troll that lives under the bridge that always wants to diddle the princess. And it's just very like, and so that's why I'm so honest about it, because I feel like if I don't, it doesn't lead to educational questions. It leads to, what does she have? Which literally feels like I'm saying, oh, I'm a grab bag of parts. I'm a mixed bag of parts. And I hope you find something in there you want to play with.
Yeah, that's really painful. And in fact, I think it kind of goes back to like men in the Chihuahua. Do you have a tail? Do you have anything I can put anything into? Kind of just grossness of all they want to talk about is the parts and what they can do to the parts and the blah, blah, blah. What I will say from an outside perspective, if we're doing the sort of realism versus idealism thing here, I think any heterosexual man that I know, that I personally know, is really into pussy, vagina. It's a thing they have a desperate biological urge to find and are driven primarily by that need on these dating apps. Therefore, you want to sort past those people, essentially, which is really difficult, but you want to sort past people who are only interested in vaginal sex. So on some level, we've got to make that filtering process easier for you. And part of it could just be saying, I have some parts of both, but I do not have a vagina. But you would be like, basically you could say I do not have an external vagina, but you could just say I don't have a pussy, if you will. You could even put it in quotation marks or whatever. So I just have backdoor sex and I have a lot of fun at it and I've got some goodies. But like
there's not an entrance to my temple, there's just a back door to my temple.
Exactly. Yes. I think that's a great, I mean, you could say it in a cute way, but all they want to know, essentially, the vagina seekers, who we all hate, but it's, the way of the world right now, is, do you have one? And so you can find an easy way to say, I don't have one. And then once we get all of them out of the way, then you have essentially pansexual or previously or primarily gay men who are like, I'm totally down for just backdoor sex because that's my favorite anyway. And then those people don't really need even that much more information until you're on the date, until you're in those situations, because then they're like, okay, then clearly they want to know you. Clearly they're open to more things. Clearly you've got the basic of what they're looking for. So then you can have maybe that more nuanced experience, but we might have to sort of swallow the pill that, just like a cis woman, they're going to be trying to ask in the most subtle or overt way possible, how fast do I get access to your pussy? That's really what they're asking here too. And am I going to win at that? And that's the realistic perspective.
Do we want to move into your picks?
Yes. How are you feeling though? Because I've been talking at you right now and I want to give you a chance to respond. And if you have feelings coming up about it for us.
I mean, I don't necessarily want to cry on a podcast or social media, but I'm tired. I'm tired. And I'm tired. I'm tired of looking. I'm tired of I'm tired of thinking that somebody is different. than the last person and getting really excited and building and getting a build up and a high off of meeting somebody that I think is going to be a fit, only to find out that I'm just a bucket list item. And it makes, on so many levels, it makes me just want to, it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel that right now. I feel like I'm in that with you in a way that I don't know that I've been as present with you in ever before, but just feeling the weight of that. And I really want to validate that. Yeah. Yeah.
But, we need content for our show.
Okay. Should we try these next guys? Do we want to do it?
I mean, I want to try it. It's even the shit show of dating and online dating is better than being at home alone,
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm at that point where like I met an escort this last week, and I thought, really, that's your gig? And he was like, yeah, that's my gig, and I'm like. He was like, you should try it. You'd make a killing. And I thought, I can't do it because I'd get feelings. I'd catch feelings. And then I'd be upset when they just want to pay me. And that would make me feel weird too. So I'm like, no, not my thing. But good for you for making that work for yourself. Do you know? I don't know. I'm still holding out. You know me, Rebecca. I'm still holding out to be a trophy wife and
there is no
have fun for a Birkin bag. That's still me. I'm still holding out for it.
There's no reason that you have to give up on that. I was actually talking with two friends. They're a couple. Today we were on a walk and we were talking about online dating. He was talking about how he was like, anytime I ever told someone that I wanted to kind of take this seriously, they're like, well, I wanted to be organic and blah, blah, blah. And they were both talking about how bad online dating experiences were for them. They met online and happened to be that success story. But we were talking about how the online dating world, you think you have an accurate sense of the odds of what's out there for you. Like, oh, there's 100 people, and that means that maybe 10 people are. It's not. It's just a totally different realm. It does not really reflect real world reality. And I think it's just going in with that mindset and being like, this is what this is, but this is not because whether it's your very real situation or another person's situation, it's all just this, it's a virtual world in which different rules apply and also in which like you are not getting a clear picture because a lot of times the winners that you deserve they can't be bothered on there because they've been burned. Yeah. So that's the thing we have to remember is like on some level we're digging in the gutter for people. And then secondly, the people that are on there are looking for a very specific thing. And I think when we really help you find your audience, if you will, you're going to notice your odds are so different that hopefully there's a different narrative that we're experiencing and a different experience that you're having. So maybe that's something we can try to figure out. Okay. For the sake of content, do you want me to show you some of these bullshit people?
Yeah, for the sake of content.
It's all for you guys, listeners.
Let's see your pics. All for the listeners. And it's crazy tonight because like we have a ticker that tells us when somebody's watching and when somebody isn't watching. And we were like up to 6 at one point, and then we fell down to 3, and then we had 1, and then we had 0, and then we had 1, and then we had 0. And I'm just like, for the love of fucking Christmas, can you watch the show or not watch the show? But like, watch it or don't watch it. Like, and it cracks me up that, and this is going to be a little bit of like bitchy Julie coming through because I'm doing this for like we do it because we enjoy doing it. But I'm so sick of people going, oh, you have a podcast? When's it on? And then you share it with them when it's on. And they're like, oh, and they never come and watch it. Right. And so you're like,
Well, we love those.
It's going to be like, oh, you have a podcast? And I'm going to be like, I sure don't. Don't you dare come and watch it. Don't come and be a part of it. You wouldn't like it. Maybe that's what we should start saying. You wouldn't.
Well, I got to say, if there are listeners who write into us as you were hearing this particular moment of the show, when I go on the YouTube page, I was very confused by the fact that at first it took me forever. I was like, our videos aren't up here, because I was expecting them to be on videos. Then I was expecting them to be on the podcast tab. So what I think we can throw people a bone and say, click on the live tab to watch episodes, either live or past episodes, or we can make sure that we're all set on Apple Podcasts. So we will try to pull our weight on that, but we do love it when you stay for the whole show. And when
you love it. And we love when you come in and chat with us. We enjoy that too.
We love the chat.
And look, this is, I mean, good God. And maybe I should wait until we're back up officially on the streaming podcast channels, but feel free to come in and tell us what you think my problem is. That would be fun. Come into a live and tell us what you think my actual problem is. And we can talk about that. You want to be opinionated? Be opinionated. Come tell us.
Maybe other people can confirm for me that you don't have a problem, but the world has a problem. But anyway, we'll keep moving forward. Rebecca's picks for the week that aren't even good enough for Julie, but we're trying. Okay, because the men on the apps are garbage, and
I mean, it's 7:52, so we only got like 8 minutes of picks.
That's great. That's all we want of these freaking men. Okay.
And then we've got to remind everybody about what next week is, so they're not logging in to think that we're going to be doing a dating show, and that's not what we're doing at all.
That's going to be a really interesting discussion, especially if you live in Savannah. You'll have a chance to go see something, and you'll also have a chance to learn about a cool play, a very important play. Okay, so let me pull this up. Who's our first Petri dish? Oh, can I request that you pop out of the app for a second so I can load?
I popped out of it. Also, feel free to, if we confirm a yes, just feel free to go ahead and swipe like we normally do and throw them in there so I can start that conversation with them.
We love it. Okay. So, and we will change your profile gender so that we don't have to deal with you having to do the reveal yourself every time. Okay, so this man is 54. He's my favorite. We're going to go top to bottom this week of my favorite. He is in like kind of a cozy sweater. He's an attractive guy, and he's like doing a selfie in a living room, and he's got really nice eyes. And I am an open, funny, passionate, intelligent, and confident man that would love to find a partner to share life's journey and enjoy all the little and big things in life. Okay, we'll see if that's just well written or if it's for real. 6'1", active Virgo, graduate degree, drinks socially, never smokes. He's looking for a relationship. He has kids and doesn't want more at his age. They're probably fully grown. He's spiritual and moderate. He's interested in tennis, surfing. He's a foodie, exploring new cities, and being family-oriented. We have a car selfie with a button down. He looks equally cute. We know we don't like the car selfie. I'm going to just chalk it up to generationally, the dating app profiles are not always the coolest looking, but I'm hoping you have a wonderful heart, a sharp mind, and a love of life. We have another living room selfie here, but he's got great arms and he's in a different position. Or someone took this photo of him, I think, actually. Maybe in the bedroom, but not in a bad way. Okay, and then in a black t-shirt. And then we have him in a bed, Julie. a little bed selfie, and it's kind of sexy. And I'm going to send you that and the one above it as the sales photos. There's no real giveaway photo. This is what this man looks like. And I
do, while you're sending that, I do have to say, look, flirty compliments are flirty compliments, and you should accept them however the universe decides to present them. Yesterday, I stopped for gas, and I was walking in to pay because I had to pay for cash yesterday instead of my card. And as I was walking in, this really hot, attractive Italian man was walking out in a black shirt, had big old gun muscles. He was in like a Beamer. And as he's walking out, he looks down. I've been wearing compression socks because of the issues with my legs lately. And I had light blue and white horizontal striped compression socks on yesterday up to my knees. And he looked at me and winked and went, "Cute socks." And I swear to God, I thought he said cute sacks and thought he was talking about my breast. And I was like, what? Like, who says that? And he went, socks, cute socks. And I went, oh, thanks. And then he watched me pump my gas and he left. And I thought, why can't I have him in my life?
Well, maybe you'll run into him again.
Oh.
Right? Sexy.
Yeah, he's sexy.
He looks kind and sexy.
Yeah, swipe right.
Okay, great. You matched. Surprise. Okay, then I'm going to do one more. Okay. And this man is a little bit maybe of a hopeless romantic, but he's real cute. I like this photo. Okay. So he's 34, so this is a totally different end of the spectrum, maybe more of a fun times guy, but not in a bad way. So currently my life is centered around learning about love. So I'm in need of your perspective. Not necessarily romantic love, love in general. That definitely makes for a good combo, so let's chat. Please don't be concerned about me using love 3 times in my bio with a little sweat face. He's 5'10", he's active, a Cancer, he's Christian. He's interested in writing, soccer, cafe hopping, mindfulness, deep chats. He knows English, Portuguese, and Spanish. He asks, what's your favorite karaoke song? He quotes too much from Mean Girls, judge me, shrug. And then this is a sexy photo of him in his soccer uniform, kicking a ball, and his legs are too much for Rebecca on a Sunday night. Then we have a picture of him with a nice background that looks like it's maybe in Spain or somewhere. He's got a beard. My mental health game changer was discovering my love for Chardonnay. Then he's like, looks out on the town with 2 women who are very beautifully dressed. However, he's kind of off to the side, like the gay best friend kind of a vibe. And it's real cute in this photo.
Is one of the women a redhead in a green, like satin dress?
Yes. Do you like this guy or no?
You'll have to send me a picture of him again, but I think I thought he was a little bit of a player.
Well, he very well might be, and are we open to finding out, or are we too exhausted?
I'm a little exhausted.
Okay.
Next.
Well, we've got one good one. Do you want to do one more?
Do one more.
Okay. This guy, I think this was also, yeah, no, he's fun times. We're going to go with a guy who I hope you don't end up with him because then he'll hear me say this. But Dorky, and then his name was how I listed him in my phone. He's 51. I'm a witty gentleman who enjoys good food, quality conversations, podcasts, pickleball, gaming, theme parks, and feeling bad about reading only 1 book a year. Me too, dude. 6'1", Virgo, sometimes works out, drinks socially, looking for a relationship. He's got a good looking face. The first photo, he's got a baseball cap on and looks like he might be on.
Does he coach pickleball?
I don't know. That would be sexier, or would that be worse? It would probably be worse.
Probably be worse.
Yeah.
There was some guy recently that I read his profile, and when it got down to like what he does for a living, he was like, I'm a pickleball coach.
Not a match. I'm going to send you this photo while I continue to talk
Read.
about
Okay.
him. Yes. This is the photo where he's probably going to look the most suave. I am trying to sell you on him, however, so we're going to send that. The world would be a better place with more kind people and free ceviche Fridays at work. That's my favorite food. Then we've got him, and we've got a nice combo of a button down and then a sort of like athletic wear, sort of.
I need to see another picture.
Stuff. Okay. Okay, but all right, before no, I'll send you the other picture. I'll see if I get buy-in, and then I'll tell you the giveaway photo, which is a tough one. Okay. You see what we're working with here, guys? We put all this work into people that are probably disasters in the first place. Anyway, okay, so we're scrolling down. We've got another sort of close-up. Then we've got this photo so you can see what we're working with, and it's a body shot of him with a pickleball racket sleeve. I will never shut up about how good whipped cream is. Then we have a Halloween. Very clearly Halloween. This is not a daily costume. He looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's near someone with a cat in the hat. However, he is really enjoying his lightsaber. Like, he's like holding it like he's like always wanted to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. So you just have to decide how you feel about that. Then 2 truths and a lie. I possess excellent beatbox skills. I possess above average dancing skills. I am possessed by the devil. He lives in World Golf Village, Florida, which sounds fancy.
It's a no for me, but
We do it for the audience.
Swipe right, but it's a no for me. I feel like it's not going to go anywhere.
Is it the Obi-Wan Kenobi that does
No,
it?
it's kind of the pickleball picture of him with the pickleball racket, and he's got like the hot sleeve on that a baseball player would wear, and then like he's got like the knee brace on.
Go
and
through.
He's got like a midsection that looks like he's eaten too many Krabby burgers from.
No, he doesn't. He's skinny.
I don't see it.
He's a wayfish. He's practically wayfish.
I don't see it. He's got droopy meth eyes.
Okay, that I can't argue with.
Can you imagine? Could you imagine if it says, describe yourself to the people? I have droopy meth eyes. I quote too much from Mean Girls, and I have a pickleball racket.
And I wish I was Obi-Wan.
And I'm possessed by the devil. I mean, I get it when people say, I don't know what to write in this bio, because you're like, oh, God.
All right. Well, then I'm going to just send you some pictures of the man that I decided. Oh, no. Oh, I don't know.
I mean, give me a wild card. Because you know me, I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick a couple of wild cards of my own tonight.
You are not going to enjoy this person, I think, but I want to see your reaction. I just matched with him. Oh, who's this guy? He looks nice.
There were some cute ones in there earlier. I didn't hard look, but I was like, oh, there's some.
Well, after the show, guys, just so you know what happens behind the scenes, Julie gets to go back in there and do things to her heart's delight. And then Rebecca gets her picks towards the end of the week so that Julie has time. Okay, so you'll enjoy that. But I want to see what your facial reaction is to the 2 people that I just matched with that were not exactly consensual because you don't know who they are yet.
Okay, let's see. Are
you in there? Oh.
No, I you can send them to me.
Sorry, you can pop in there.
Okay.
Now, I'm out.
Okay, so there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. So
the last 2 are the ones that I chose for you.
Okay, there's the 54-year-old.
They're wild cards. I don't know if you're going to like either of them. One of them looks nice. One of them looks potentially douchey. On his first photo, he's saved by the others, but not entirely.
I don't know. I'm just not sold on the World Golf Village guy. I'll start a conversation with him.
It's rough out there, people.
Okay.
Who do you like?
I'm here to meet for coffee and be a distraction.
Yes, that's the distraction guy.
Yeah. He's attractive.
Yeah, he is. And
I don't know where in Florida that is.
His first photo looks like almost douchey, but then when
I like those Austin Kroll douchey types. It would be on a boat.
When you scroll down, he looks like somebody that you would not be upset for your good friend to be with.
No. Okay. What question should we lead with?
Oh gosh, what are your options? I don't want to mess up your experience.
Okay, my options are: what LGBTQIA plus movie or TV shows should everyone watch? Here's my question in the Hive. These aren't always prompts that you get, and it makes me go, well, are they asking because that guy may also be interested, but you don't want to ask it, and then they're like, I'm not an ally.
I would say make sure the person knows the key information about your gender. Then beyond that, just be a person.
What would you guess about me that isn't on my profile? I think this one's stupid. Rank these from most important to least: time, money, and health. That never. I want to ask a question that's going to lead to other conversations, and that one usually doesn't. What's your impression of me from my profile? That you are a douchebag, but that you're a lot of fun past the douche level. If you could fix a problem in society right now, what would it be? What's the best part about being single? How do you know when you really like someone? What's the funniest nickname someone has for you?
I am attached to what is your impression of me from my profile, because that also ties into our theme of just like judging.
Okay. What is your impression of me from my profile? So what am I going to say to him?
You could be cute and say, I have low-key concerns you could be a douche, but I'm willing to take the risk because you're cute and you look nice as well.
I have low-key concerns.
I don't know. I mean, that's a real, we're really putting it out there. What is your impression of him from the profile? You could say, I'm a little worried you're a baddie.
I have low-key concerns that you're handsy in public.
Okay, what impression?
But I like that. That would be, I have low-key concerns that you're a little handsy in public. But I like it.
Okay, but I will say, is this
that opens the door to very sexual? Yes. So
I would say
I have a low-key concern that you are the life of the party.
Yeah, or low-key but I'm not sure that I'm upset about it.
Okay, I have low-key concerns. You are the life of the party. However,
but I don't think I'm upset about it.
I don't think I'm upset about it. I have low-key concerns. You are the life of the party. However, I don't think I'm upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, or you can even
tell me now before I hit send.
Drop the however. Go full casual. Say like, but I don't think.
But I don't think I'm upset about it.
Yeah.
I should have said, and I don't need the competition. Okay. So that was him. Okay, the other guy. Oh, I know this guy, I think.
Okay, I'm just going to see if I can get in here. The nice one? The smiley one?
Yeah. I think I know him.
do we not like him in real life?
He's not nice in real life.
Okay. He has that look where he seems like the nicest guy, but if I hear that one time, I can't be convinced otherwise. He's like almost like smiling too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he only has 2 pictures. There's nothing in his profile.
That's kind of a flag. I know. I just saw a smiling face and we got really beat up tonight. And I wanted it to be real.
Won't let me unmatch with him. So I'll try that later. Oh, we already got, okay. So, should we initiate questions with the other 2 in the hive? We got some time. I don't have to end the show. It's our show.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to the 54-year-old with the nice guns. I guess because you're in there right now too, it's not letting me like.
Oh, I'm interrupting yours. Okay, hold on. I kind of want to see if we can ask him.
Look, find me another one. You want to pick another one for me? Pick another one for me.
Well, I kind of want to see if we can come up with something for this guy that is a unique question based off of his profile. So
do that. You can ask your own question. Are we talking about the guns guy?
Yeah, guns guy. Open, funny, passionate, intelligent, and confident man that would love to find a partner, share life's journey, and enjoy all the little and big things in life. I would say, what are a few of the little things in life that you like the most? Or what are a few of your favorite little things in life?
Yeah, do that. We're going to have to answer the same question, though.
No, I'm making this up.
You're not doing the write your own question, like when you go into the questions and it says write your own question.
Oh no, I was just gonna like message him like basically like
okay,
hey John, kind of
that.
I think you would probably say hi, so I'm gonna go hi John ! What are a few of your favorite little things in life? It's really funny because these are like the questions that on Love on the Spectrum, they're asking each other all the time. But it's just like, what's your favorite animal? And then there's a list of like 10 animals. And then what's your favorite dessert? And then it's really sweet. So we're good. We're good. We're taking the Love on the Spectrum direction here. Hi, John. What are a few of your favorite little things in life? Okay, great. I find that to be really meaningful for somebody that cares. Okay. So next guy, we can do questions game. This is the meh guy.
This is the pickleball guy.
I want to say something.
Which I do have to tell you, pickleball and the guy that we thought could be douchey, but the life of the party, they both have the same name. Now, here's why this is weird to me. In real life, they both have the same name on their profiles. You noticed that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Both a 3-letter name. And when I was on TikTok earlier today, there's this one lady, sometimes I don't pay attention to it, but there's some people that do like the tarot readings on TikTok, and they'll be like, if you've come across this particular video of mine, heed warning or whatever. And sometimes I'm like, but one came up today and I wasn't really paying attention. I kind of was paying attention. And it was this girl I listened to a lot. And she was like, oh my, and she speaks in this British accent. She was like, oh my God. She was like, I'm getting the initials JAM and SAM. And oh my God, y'all are perfect together. And I literally went, my initials are JAM. That never happens. That never happens. And then tonight you're reading out these posts and you're like, do you like this guy? And I'm like, his initials are what? And so I'm like,
guys, it could be the raw dogging episode that we get it. Man. I really hope it's
maybe
the one we just reached out to. And I feel like it would be good juju because we actually didn't phone it in and we decided to come up with our own thing.
Well, and then she went on to say, it's, you may have met this person, but you haven't met this. She goes, you may not have met this person yet, but you may have met them. And then they may have been secretly like looking at you on your social medias, and they may already know who you are in some way. because of your social media. And when you find out that it's them, you're going to be super excited about it. And I'm like, what? I try not to like believe too much into that stuff, but I do believe in it. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm like,
yeah. Look, if you give
like,
it some
she was like, he
credence,
has dark hair, and I'm like, and look, the douche guy. That's not. He made.
oh, someone just dropped out of the hive. Oh well. Good riddance.
Was it the douche guy?
It was the person we came up with the question. Yeah, the douche guy, which means
it was the douche guy that we said he looked like. That was him that dropped out?
Yeah. I know. Well, it means he was a douche. Because it means that he's the life of the party in a bad way. Because he didn't want to have to explain that. It
also means I'm stuck with the ones I don't want to be stuck with.
No,
I'm not. I know, but that's
he was one of the initials. Oh, god damn it. I thought this guy that I really liked was one of the initials. All right. Well, that was a roller coaster. If you're just listening and we can see Juleigh's face right now, it's all of us after every tarot
I'm also tired of like, if one more person tells me to manifest it, I'm going to punch them in the goddamn throat, right? Oh, you just need to manifest what you want. Make a board, manifest, put down what you like. I'm so tired of telling people what I like and what my type is, and what I get is Groot. Right? I'm so tired of being like, this is my type, this is what I want, this is what I'd like to go out with, and I literally get Pee Wee Herman, and Pee Wee Herman's like, oh my god, I totally want to be in bed with you and like make out with you, and then hot guys will come up and say, God, you're fucking gorgeous. Why are you single? And I'm like, because the ones I want to talk to me don't talk to me, and the ones that do talk to me and want to take me out look like Pee Wee Herman over there.
Okay, I'm going to say this, Juleigh. Your experience is different than mine. However, in this regard, it is not. I was talking with a friend the other day. There's somebody.
I'm into Austin Kroll, and I get Shep.
Oh no, but this is the thing: is it's true for most. Like, you always are going to get the attention from the people that you are not attracted to. And the few that you are going to be like off with someone else or whatever. Right. And the why are you single question, I think every woman
people are like, manifest it. You should manifest it. And you're like,
people who can manifest are white, cis, hetero women who were born in like Rhode Island. Those are the only manifestors on the planet. They manifest in privilege, y'all. That's all the manifestors you see out there, I'm telling you.
It's annoying. It's annoying. And then you like, and because I'm the nice girl, I don't ever want to be rude to anybody. So like when, Pablo walks up to me and he's got like 19 kids and a food truck is his only business, and he's like, oh, you're so gorgeous, I'd love to get in bed with you. In my head I'm thinking, well, fuck, I'm gonna need like a California king size bed times 9. Who's paying for that shit? And then you're just like, thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Pablo. And then like the guys you want, the Austin Krolls, that, Mr. Douchebag that we just reached out to and tried so hard in the profile to get him to respond, he's like, can't be bothered. And then you'll hear him in a bar being like, why can't I get a hot, pretty girl? And you're like, check, please. I gotta go. And then Pablo's like, I'll take you home. And you're like, no.
Pablo is every woman.
No.
Pablo experiences every woman. Julie, I wish I could have saved you from womanhood. I wish when you had your key decision, and everybody, this is the biggest joke of the century, but I wish when you had your key decision, I could have really told you what was coming. Oh.
I mean, it's sad when you go through such like, I literally was laying in bed the other night and I was like, dear Lord, when I die, if I get to heaven and you tell me I have to come back to right wrongs that I made in this life, please let me come back as somebody that could give two shits about having a partner. I would like to come back as a great white shark. Right? Like that doesn't need a partner. And I was like, because you know what's going to happen? He's going to have me come back as a mallard duck, and I'm going to be the one duck that never gets paired with another duck.
Okay, Julie, I'm going to say one thing about
I'll be like, ducks made for life, but not Julie.
Okay, I have one aspect of manifestation that works in my life. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Negative thinking always turns out exactly what I'm talking about.
Julie's going to be a duck.
Well,
look, we have a comment.
Maybe it's this other SIM. You know,
Kenneth Guyman said, "Hey gals, just joined.
Oh, Kenneth, hi.
Love the title." He says, "Love the title." If you only knew, Kenneth, what we were talking about.
So do the people that own food trucks. Oh boy.
I'm shedding. Okay. Do we have another pick?
Okay, let's see so that we can give one to Kedza.
Can we give Julie a bone and find her another one that looks like a complete Southern douchebag?
Okay, we can try to find you a douchebag. But I got to go back in here to get one. So, let's see if I can do a quick. Oh, who's this guy? He looks interesting. Like he could either murder you or be really cool.
I love it.
Oh my God, Julie, I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm going to swipe right.
You know what my mom said to me the other day? Actually, you know what a good friend of mine in Savannah said? She said, Julie, I know you really want to be on television really badly, but Dateline is not it. And I was like,
okay, I just swiped on him. I need immediate reactions. There's some physical characteristics that are interesting about him that I don't think you should mention in case you want to go out with him. However, walk us through what you're seeing and whether you think he has crazy eyes or like just unfortunate starting photo. He's got a good body.
Yeah.
He's cute, right?
Cute.
Okay. We like him.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, he's cute. That one picture where he's got the sunglasses and the baseball hat on, like, that makes his forehead look massive. Like,
it's never a good look for anyone.
He kind of looks like Megamind in that movie.
Okay, it's not okay. That it's not his best picture. No, Julie, we can't. Remember, we had a whole conversation.
We have to do it for the. We have to do it for the content. We have to do it for the content.
We can't be too picky here.
Is my question going to be? Is it hard to find a hat?
No. Okay.
It could be deceiving if he ever wears a hat like that guy that sung that song "Happy."
Okay, wait. Here's the thing, though. Is this a red flag? His bio says, "Here to meet some wonderful people and hopefully more."
No, he's a Scorpio.
No, the poly
he had to tell you
was like, "Oh, he wants to date more than just you, but he wants more than just meeting." Okay.
Yeah. Also a Scorpio, so it's safe to say that he was conceived around this time of the year.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Are we trying to manifest with that?
Huh?
Okay. Also, Scorpios, I am involved with a Scorpio. and Pisces don't normally get along. But if you are okay with their claws and you're kind of like happen to be impervious to that person's claws and they don't really have them and they're taking care of their stuff, they're quite fun. Okay, so he's 6'1". This is for the sake of the content for our audience here. We haven't forgotten you guys. 6'1", active Scorpio, grad school degree, drinks socially, is looking for a relationship, has kids and wants more. What age is he? 44. They might be teenagers.
Who wants kids at 44?
Oh, wait, he wants more. I think he put that on there, which could then be a douche flag. I think he put that on there so that he would attract people that want kids and then be able to break the news later. Or maybe he's open to more and it's just you only get to pick a title. Also, sidebar, everybody, this is what happens when you've been on the app too long and you didn't find any good ones. We start justifying the garbage label.
I think
this is a toxic Twix ball.
I think he is going to be. I think this is what he's going to be. I think he is going to be a cutter's wife.
I mean, he's literally doing that exact same pose
with a bigger forehead.
Photo.
With a bigger forehead.
All right, the truth came out. Okay, he's into arts, gym, mindfulness, sleeping well, and nutrition. It's meant to be if we laugh, support, and respect each other. I do think he actually has the potential to be a gutter swipe, and we need to find out.
Let's find out. Let's find out.
Okay, wait. Oh, we were
also, if you hear me throw my phone out my window at 4:00 in the morning, and you hear it ricochet off of a light post, then you'll know that he was a gutter swipe, and he wanted to know what intersex was, and said.
Oh, I have another man with a fish. This guy's a lot. I just want to show you his profile for entertainment value. So, guys, sometimes I'll send Julie the entertainment of the day. Well, who did we have on there? Someone who was
pirate. We had the pirate.
This guy, let's explain his profile for everyone to have entertainment of the day. So, he's got a fish. Okay, he's on a boat. You think, okay, awesome, right away. Then, okay, interests, museums, galleries, beaches, dogs, ambition, empathy. Okay, he's a Libra, active. Okay, but then we've got a gym selfie, but it's the pose that really gets me. He's like leaning into the camera. I don't know if he's hoping his arms look bigger, closer. They are huge. I would call them overdeveloped. Then Johnita asks,
you know what they say about overdeveloped arms?
No.
Underdeveloped penis.
Oh, wow. Julie's not holding back.
I'm not holding back. I'm kind of upset.
We are really keeping it real on this raw dogging. Mm-hmm. So what TV show character would you be a main character in? I'm a real nerd about history and space travel. Okay, he's a cop, and we know this from him in the gym in a police uniform that is like Julie's just reminding us for our manifestation. It almost looks like it's from a TV show, but like not one you really want to watch. It's not great. It's intense. And then we've got a car selfie. My zombie apocalypse plan is develop a necessary skill I can barter with, get some weapons, and find my apocalypse partner on this app. This is the man who would actually kill you. Anyway, and then party in Miami. He's basically only in the gym in these pictures, including in full uniform. So anyway, it's probably more entertaining for us to look at than the audience. Thanks for bearing with us. So that's that guy.
So let's talk about next week real fast. Yes. And then we'll go ahead and get off for this week. And, because Juleigh needs to. I do have to get ready for tomorrow because it is, first day on the job. You know, it's not easy being a hooker. So, I got to make sure I'm wearing the right shoes and that, you know, I'm on my corner as opposed to somebody else. So, for real though, Julie is starting a new job tomorrow, so she needs to prepare for that. But, next week, we will not be doing Optimistic in Orlando. Next Sunday, we have a special presentation. What is going on is Rebecca and I met, if we've never told you this before, you're learning it now. Rebecca and I actually met partaking in a play last year in Savannah, a staged reading of a show called Love, Loss, and What I Wore. And we were with a great cast in that production, and it was directed by a dear friend of ours, Bonnie Teresa, and who actually, she goes by so many different names. Her email's different, her director name is different. Anyway, she, along with Performers for Social Justice and Awareness, are putting together a production on January 24th in Savannah. It's a one-night only staged reading of a play called Mrs. Evers Boys, or Miss Evers Boys.
It's February 24th.
Is the play date, right?
Yeah, we said January.
I said January. So next week, which is February 4th, which is also the Super Bowl. Wait, is that correct? No, Super Bowl is a lot. This is what's crazy is so many things are going on. Next week, the 4th, we are doing a roundtable cast presentation with the cast from Miss Evers Boys. And it's kind of to help them promote the show that will be being performed and read in February, late February in Savannah. So we are doing a roundtable cast exclusive. We've done it before with the show that we ran, and I kind of hosted that, but we're going to use our Voice Center platform to host this roundtable. Super excited. They've got a couple of guests joining the cast. The playwright, David Fishold, is going to be joining the roundtable as well. And so that's what's going to be happening this next February 4th. And Rebecca, I think, will actually be in town for that. She'll be here, so it'll be her and I live on this end, and then the cast on that end. And then Rebecca and I are also going to try and get some other shows on that Sunday filmed and in the can for any episodes coming up in the spring that we need filler for. So hopefully you'll join us next week for the special presentation of the cast from Miss Evers Boys. If you're unaware what that show is about, it is about the Tuskegee syphilis scandal in Alabama in the 30s and 40s and 50s. And it has to do with the marginalized community of the African-American community being used as lab rats in an effort to kind of control their population, while the American government was kind of saying, no, it's not that. We're trying to help cure syphilis. And it's a very poignant story and a hard story to hear. But that's what next week's show will be about, which might be better than dating in the hive.
It's certainly a more important conversation than the hive.
100%. 100%. And we have one more comment tonight before we get off. It is also from Kenneth. And he says, will the play be live streamed? That sounds fun. The play will not be live streamed. You'll have to be in Savannah for that. But what a great way to come and see Rebecca and I, because I plan on trying to go. But it would still be interesting enough, Kenneth, if you would join us next week. You would learn a lot, and you would be able to hear about it. And it's certainly a social construct that needs to be talked more about. And a lot of people don't know that story. There was a movie, Kenneth, about Miss Evers Boys, the play, that came out in 1997. It was a made-for-television movie starring Alfred Woodward, and it got a lot of Emmys and recognition based heavily on the play. So the play came out in 1994 by David Fushold, and the movie came out in 1997, and the play is being done in Savannah on February 24th at the Adobe Studios. Tickets can be found on Eventbrite, but if you can't make it, definitely tune in next week for our roundtable discussion.
And you can check that out, I think, probably on Netflix, the film. But it would probably be interesting to hear the discussion and everything that's going to be talked about, and then check out the.
Hey, he said, cool. I might try and make it. I live in Athens, Georgia, so a good few-day trip. You know what? We would love to see you down there if you want to come and see.
Yeah, let us know if you make it.
I'm gonna try and go. Rebecca lives in Savannah. Tickets are $20 on Eventbrite. Last thing I heard, you may have to buy our tickets soon, and I gotta
get yours. Actually, that reminds me,
because I know they only have 24 left. Kenneth, they have 24 tickets left, so it'll be a great event. If you can get mine for me, Rebecca, I'll pay you back, and then if I don't end up going, you'll have a ticket to give to somebody. But
that's fine.
I mean, Rebecca and I get in trouble when we're together, usually at cigar bars. So I don't mind coming back to see her. It would be a whirlwind trip for me as well, Kenneth, because I would have to come in. Show's on the 24th. I would have to drive in on the 23rd, go to the show, and then head back on Sunday the 25th to be back in Orlando on Monday the 26th. So we'd love to see you there. Okay. Well, that's our show for this evening. It has been about an hour and 40 minutes, which is different for us. But we had a lot to talk about tonight, and definitely had some moments where Juleigh almost cut her cameras off and walked off stage.
I'm glad you stuck with us, my dear.
So that said, have a wonderful evening. Rebecca and I are going to talk a little bit on the back end, as we always do, especially when we're raw dogging. And join us next week for that special presentation of Miss Evers' Boys with the cast of the show and the playwright and a few other special guests. Until then, have a beautiful week and don't give up. There's somebody out there for everybody. And sometimes it's just finding them. Have a wonderful week, everybody. We love you. Thank you.
For more content, follow justjuleigh.com. That's just Juleigh, JULEIGH.com. Thank you to our guests, and thank you for joining us this evening. Join us next week as Juleigh tries a different rosé.